Hope everyone's having a great day today. I am going to talk today a little bit about 7-day candles. And I wanted to share with you the way I use 7-day candles, what I use them for, how I dress them, and things like that, just as a kind of tutorial, I guess, for anyone who has not used 7-day candles, or if anyone has and they just don't feel inspired and don't really know what to do with them necessarily. And this way you can use your own, make your own, if you so choose. You know, not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody wants to deal with making their own candles. They like to purchase them, and that's fine too. But if you want to use and do your own workings with your own created candle, this is a great way to start. And I like 7-day candles because there's not a lot of work you really have to do as far as like gathering supplies and stuff. You know, the candle is already poured up in a jar for you. So what I do is I like to buy these in 3-packs from Walmart. I'm not a fan of Walmart, y'all, but Walmart is one of the few places I have to shop in this little town of mine. So, besides Walmart, it's Dollar Tree, and that's pretty much it. Well, there's like Dollar General and Family Dollar too. But, and honestly, I really don't utilize those places that much. But Walmart and Dollar Tree, yes, all the time. So, they come in a 3-pack, which I like because I have several different ways I like to use 7-day candles. So a 3-pack is pretty convenient for me. I can use a couple as spell candles and one as a devotional candle, or I might use them all as devotional candles. It just depends on what I have in mind for the month or that week. Sometimes I can go through a 3-pack of these suckers a week. It just depends on what I'm doing and how much work I'm doing for myself or others. So, like I said, I usually use them either as 7-day spell candles or devotional candles. With devotional candles, really there's not just a ton of work involved. Like, I will either use it on an altar and have it as a specific altar devotional candle, like Samhain's coming up, so I'll be making my Ancestral devotional candles, which I make those on whenever I feel that I really need to work with my ancestors more during that certain time frame. I will make an Ancestral devotional candle. I don't just use them during Samhain. But with Samhain coming up, I definitely want to make a few of these for my Ancestral altar. And the way I will make them more specific and not so generic is I will either print up. I have several photos scanned into my laptop, so I will print up sort of a collage of my different ancestors who have passed on, and I will cut the collage. I try to make it where it'll fit the candle, and I will cut the collage to where I can tape it to this candle. And sometimes I will add, well, usually every time I will add names, birth and death dates, and anything else. Like if there is something specific I want to say to my ancestors, something specific I want to meditate on, then I will add that if I feel the need. You know, I usually don't dress it with any kind of oils or put any oils in it whenever it's something like a devotional candle. Now, if it's a devotional candle to a specific deity and I have created an oil in honor of that specific deity, or I feel like there's a few oils that I like to use when working with that deity, then, excuse me, y'all, then I will use those oils. And if I want to use specific colors and things like that, then for sure that's what I will do. But when it comes to devotional candles, a lot of times that is just not needed. So I will just dress the outside with whatever pictures I have, or if I feel really super artsy, I will use markers and draw. I'm trying to get a marker out, y'all. That's why I'm like not focusing. But let's see, and I always do this backwards. The big market markers, they come in like all kinds of colors. They're fairly inexpensive. I will just create something and either draw it directly on, because these mark really well and they stay pretty well. And the color, see, I mean, that's fairly reddish. You know, it doesn't, the colors come through really well, and they don't come off, you know, unless like already I just ran my finger across that, it's staying. So they dry fast and they don't come off unless you're just really scrubbing on it. So to me, that's what I love about the big market markers, is they dry quickly, they stay. And like I said, when I'm feeling super artsy, I might draw my interpretation of a goddess and put it on there, and it works wonderful. And also in spell work, these are amazing because I use the white candles, which I will tell you in a minute how you can change the wax color. But if I don't feel like going through all that, if I'm wanting to create something sort of spur of the moment, then I will use just the colored markers. And like I said, I have a ton of colors. They come in all kinds. So, and write sigil, you know, draw sigils, whatever I feel like I need to draw, glyphs, whatever, on the outside of the candle, and I'll work it that way. So a lot of times whenever I do 7-day spells, I will mark off the candle in 7 sections. I don't like to leave any candle burning that long because obviously you have to sleep. I may not be here all the time, and I have animals. I have a cat and a small dog who like to knock things over. So to keep my house from burning, I just mark off in sections. Usually I'll get a ruler and try to make them equal, you know, 7 sections, and I'll just burn down to that section with spell work. With devotional candles, not so much, because I'm usually sitting in front of the candle, focusing my meditative state on that candle and working with it in that way. So it doesn't really matter how long it burns. Sometimes I'll put it out as soon as I'm done with meditation. Sometimes I will let it burn longer. It just really depends on my gut and the way I feel. So with those, they will last much longer than 7 days, usually about a month. Especially if I'm working on it with that particular deity or my ancestors that whole month. So like again, when Samhain comes along, I will be working with my ancestors that whole month. Let's see, just a couple months ago, I was doing a lot of work with my ancestors, and so I actually went through 2 of them because, well, about 1.5, because I was meditating both morning and night. We were having some very intense, emotional work going on. So devotional candles can last much longer than 7 days, and it's really just all up to you and how much you're working with whatever you're devoting your time to. So with 7-day candles, I'll section them off and I'll burn them for 7 days until that it gets to that, around about that section. If I use any kind of label, I will leave probably just like, you know, about that much free so I can see my markings. You know, I don't want to not be able to see where they're sectioned off, so I will usually leave a space so I can see the markings of where they are. One of the ways I dress the candle, because I don't, besides like the actual art, sigil work, whatever drawing I want to put on the outside of the candle, I don't dress the outside of the candle with oils. I dress the inside. And it's like, oh, well, how do you do that? That's already, you know, it's already poured up. One of my favorite things to do is put this on a candle warmer. And before I do any kind of artwork on the outside, before I do anything to the outside of it per se, I will set it on a candle warmer and let the wax melt. And in order to keep the wick from falling, I like to use, and y'all already have it set in here, but it doesn't, these don't come like this. They don't come with a color pencil, but you can buy these little plastic clothespins from Dollar Tree. I think there's like 12 for $1, and they have in the center of them a small little, and you can kind of see the little bracket that's right here, and that is so it will stay on your clothesline. Well, whenever I saw that, I thought, okay, I think a color pencil could fit in there. And so color pencils to me are the best. They're a little smaller in width than regular pencils, but if you can get a regular pencil in there, then use that. But I will set it like that. Then I will set this on top of the glass jar and clip it to the actual wick. So as the wax melts, which you can tell it kind of just lightly sits on the top of the jar, but as the wax melts, it'll fall a little bit, and it'll keep your wick from falling to the bottom, because there's nothing worse than trying to dig out a wick in hot wax. Trust me, I know. So learn from my mistakes, and that is a great way. If you do not have access to a Dollar Tree or these, and all you have is the wooden clothespins, a popsicle stick and those wooden clothespins are like a match made in heaven, and they will hold that up for you as well. So either way will work, and you don't have to worry about losing your wick. But once the wax is melted, I will, if I'm feeling the need to color the wax, I will color the wax with wax coloring. You can get that at, I get it off on the Amazon. You can get it online. And they're just little packets so you can dye. You could probably use food coloring. I've never tried it. So someone try it and tell me if it works. But you could probably use food coloring, I would think. I know you can use like crayons melted down and add them to it. And there's, you've got about not quite a half an inch at the top. So you could add that. I would think it would make it more of a pastel color, but hey, color is color, right? So you can do that, and then I would add my oils then while the wax is melted. And to stir it up, I usually get like a popsicle stick or a pencil I don't really care about, and I'll stir it up, and I'll just sort of take this and lift up the wick a little bit, just get this out of the way, and then stir it up some, and it usually mixes pretty easily. So that's what I do. I do not add herbs to jar candles, and the only reason why I don't, it's not that I don't love herbs, because you know me, I love herbs, but the difference between adding herbs to a jar candle versus rolling a pillar or a chime candle in herbs is that with the pillar or chime candle, they have a place to go. They, once the candle starts to melt, they usually just melt downward. In a jar candle, there is no place for them to go but to the center. The wick burns, so it makes a concave hole, I guess, where the wax will melt in the center first. So all those herbs will gather into the center, and you will either have two results from that. It will put your candle out prematurely, which to me kind of screws around with the magic, or you will have a huge flame and it will burn really big, and that can also be a not good thing, not just for the magic but for your house. So that's how house fires are started. So I do not use herbs in jar candles. If you want to, definitely do it. This is not me saying don't, this is me telling you why I don't. So if you want to use herbs in jar candles, go for it. I just don't like the results. So if you do not have a candle warmer like I do, and you don't feel like buying it just for this purpose, you can always take a pencil right here. And you can tell I've already used this pencil for this purpose, and poke a hole. And the wax on these are pretty soft, y'all. So it's really not that hard to get a pretty decent hole. I didn't stick this one in very far, but because that's not how I'm going to put the oil in this particular candle. But you can get a pencil, you know, all the way as far down as a pencil will go, usually. Because like I said, the wax is fairly soft in jar candles. If it's not that soft, you can always set it in a window on the windowsill where the sun comes in a lot, and the sun will soften the wax enough to where it will be easier to stick a pencil down in there, and then you can just drop your oil down that hole. And I'll usually, if I was going to do this, and I've done this before just as a sort of experimentation, and I put 3 holes, so I felt like it saturated the candle more. So maybe that's just me, but I use 3 holes. You can do whatever you feel comfortable with, and I also like the number 3. But I used 3 holes and did it that way. And if I wasn't able to get the pencil all the way to the bottom, because you know there's quite a bit of, I mean, you'd have to get all the way down, eraser and everything, and that can be challenging. I would mark about where I got the pencil to, and then as the candle burned down, I would just elongate the hole with the pencil and add a little bit more oil. So that is how I do that. And again, you can't really change the color of the candle that way, but you can add whatever oils you want to add. So you can dress the candle that way. To me, dressing it on the outside with oils is kind of pointless, in my opinion, because it's not connecting with the candle in any way. There's a glass barrier. So that's why I don't dress the outside with oil. So, and plus it would just rub off and stuff, in my opinion. So that's why I don't do that. But it's really easy to do it that way, y'all. You know, either way, like I said, I prefer the candle warmer because to me it gets the oil all the way through the candle. If I want to change the color, I can. I usually don't buy colored 7-day candles. You can, there are plenty out there. The reason why I don't buy colored 7-day candles is because my magic tends to be pretty sporadic. So unless I plan pretty well in advance, I would have to buy like all the colors on a regular basis, and I don't use all the colors. I use specific colors more than others. So like I would have been left with a whole bunch of probably yellow candles because I don't really use yellow that much in my candle magic. So, and like I said, 7-day candles are great for spell work, any kind of spell work really. I personally do a lot of prosperity, abundance, healing if anyone in my family is really sick, tranquility a lot of times. Sometimes now a way I would use a yellow candle is energy, especially during the winter. We all tend to get really lethargic and kind of depressed, and so I want to bring in that sun energy, and I will use the yellow candle, a 7-day candle for that. So love magic, I will use it for that. I don't use it for banishing too much. I don't know why, but usually I don't have to banish something for that long. Banishing to me is a quick spell, not a long drawn out spell. Unless it was just something generic like banishing negativity, but even then I'm really careful with stuff like that because sometimes you need those conflicting energies to grow. So you don't want to banish negativity completely all the time. And that's just my thought on it, but I have not done too many banishing workings with 7-day candles. So that is how I use 7-day candles. Oh, and the bottom, y'all, you can do, instead of you doing petition paper like you would with a chime candle and placing the candle on top of the petition paper, I use the bottom as like a petition paper. So if I'm doing this for prosperity, and I have a specific prosperity in mind, like we need money to flow into this house, I will write that on the bottom, usually just around in a circle. We need money to flow into this house. We need money to flow into this house, you know, or I will make a sigil using that phrase and put it on the bottom. If we need a specific amount of money, like something's come up, we need repairs to something, and let's say we need $362. I will write 362, 362, 362 all the way around, put like a $sign in the middle. That's what we need. And to me, as it burns towards the bottom, it just sort of reinforces that magic, that specific want or desire or need. So that, y'all, is how I use 7-day candles. I hope that I've given you some inspiration and a little knowledge, if you didn't have any, on 7-day candles. And y'all have a wonderful day, and keep witching on, witches. Bye.